So a very classy field being assembled here for the men's 400 in New York. Very wet conditions, tough day for the men on the track running the one lap. The favourite, no doubt, will be Jeremy Warner. Here's Oscar Pistorius, the Blade Runner, 8th in Eugene last week. Continues to improve. 24-year-old, a PB of 45.61. He's run sub 46 so far this season. Look for him on the inside. It'll be tough, though, in the wet with the prosthetics. There's Rennie Kuo, 3rd of the world titles a couple of years ago, 7th at the Beijing Olympic Games. This is his 3rd 400 of the year. Yet to break 45 seconds in 2011. Here's the fastest man in the world this year, a 21-year-old from Grenada, Rondell Bartholomew. He has been setting the collegiate season alight with a 44.65 run at the Texas Tech Invitational from South Plains College. He might be a threat here to the number one in the field, Jeremy Warner, 3rd fastest all-time, dual world champion, the Athens Olympic champion, 7 Diamond League wins last season. He'll be tough to beat, although he was beaten last week by Angelo Taylor in Eugene. There's Jermaine Gonzalez, PB in Monaco last year. There's a former Commonwealth bronze medalist, the 26-year-old from Jamaica. Here's Christopher Brown, the oldest man in the field from the Bahamas. Perennial 4th place getter in all of the big events, although he did win the indoor world title last year, and he was the winner in Rome, beating Gonzalez. And Jonathan Borley earlier this season. Ricardo Chambers of Jamaica, another 26-year-old, 2nd in the Continental Cup in 2010 in split to Warner. 2 runs in Kingston so far this year. But this is his first international meet. And Kevin Borley, the twin brother of Jonathan, the European champion from last year, was 3rd in Eugene behind Taylor and Warner last week. It's a good field. Underway in the wet conditions in the men's 400 here in New York. Warner's the favourite. He runs in 4. Bartholomew on his inside, the fastest man in the world this year, has gone out pretty slowly. Warren has made a terrific start, making up ground on Gonzalez on his outside and also Brown. It's Warner down the back straight, looking impressive. Tough for the boys coming off the bend. Borley is the man who leads on the outside. He's got a fresh track in front of him and he's making good ground so far. Warren is sweeping through on the inside. He's gone past Gonzalez and Brown. Here comes Bartholomew on his inside. Moves up onto the shoulder and takes the lead into the straight. The 21-year-old against the veteran. Warner coming back. Bartholomew fading. Gonzalez coming late. Warner held on. He beat Bartholomew and Gonzalez. That's a wonderful race. Sluggish time, but the veteran was tested by the youngster who is running superbly this year. Jeremy Warner gets the win, but only just, and he was made to work. This kid from Grenada, Rondell Bartholomew, has a big future in front of him, and he may well be a threat come the world titles later this season, but it was all Warner through the first 200. Bartholomew gave him a start and then reeled him in off that top end. Superb running from the youngster. He got past him on the inside after Borley had led them all the way through, and then it really was Bartholomew's to lose from here. He expended perhaps too much energy between the 200 and the 350, and Warner just coming back, nudged his chest in front. Gonzalez really pushed late, but it was Warner getting the win, and Gonzalez might have got up to 2nd, just ahead of Bartholomew, who was really straining. You can see the pain etched over his face. Warner looked in control. He's not as sharp as you'd expect him. He did run 44.88 in France early in May, but he was beaten last week by Angelo Taylor. But he gets his revenge. No Taylor today. He wins ahead of Jermaine Gonzalez, did get 2nd, and Bartholomew beaten to 3rd, but he's one to watch. Brown 4th again. Pistorius, good run for 5th. Wonderful race in the wet by the men in the 400 in New York. So Warner leads the diamond race standings after a 2nd place in Eugene and a win here in New York. So there's the field for the men's 400 hurdles here in New York. LJ Van Zyl is the hot hand. He's won both races in Doha and Rome. And he's the fastest man in the world this year, the only one to have gone under 48 seconds. But we'll run through the lineup. Michael Tinsley, the first of 4 Americans, goes on the inside in lane 1, a former NCAA champion in 2006. Here's Johnny Dutch, the youngest of the 4 Americans, 22 years of age, last year's NCAA champion and a World Junior silver medalist from 08. He was third in Ostrava a couple of weeks ago. Here's David Green. Best season last year, 2010 European and Commonwealth champion, and he won the Continental Cup as well. Here's the most experienced man in the field, Bashawn Jackson, 2005 world champion, bronze in Beijing at the Olympic Games and bronze at the last world titles as well behind Karen Clement. LJ Van Zyl is the man to beat here, 47.66 in Ostrava, was a world leader, the only man to have gone under 48 seconds. He finished second to Green though at last year's Commonwealth Games. Here's Javier Coulson, silver medalist for the world titles in 2009, silver medalist at the Continental Cup last year. He's ranked 4th in the world, was 4th in Rome behind Van Zyl, Green and Angelo Taylor, who's not here. And then in 7, Jehu Gordon of Trinidad and Tobago, 19 years of age, last year's world junior champion. He is one to watch for the future. And Justin Gaiman started his season pretty early. He had wins in Melbourne and Sydney back in March, 6th in Rome, 4th in Ostrava. Slowest PB in the field, but incidentally, he has the 6th fastest time of the year. Underway, the men's 400 hurdles here in New York. Tough conditions in the wet for the men. And the ones to watch are in 3, 4, 5 and 6. Green, Jackson, Van Zyl and Coulson. And down the back straight they go over the 3rd flight. Javier Coulson on screen is making up ground on Gordon and Gaiman on his outside. Van Zyl is running well on his inside. Drifting back early is Jackson. And Green's making up ground in 3. But it's Coulson and Van Zyl hurling together here with 150 to go and a couple of flights remaining. Jackson's making up ground. Green is coming back. So too is Dutch on the inside, the youngster. But it's Coulson just in front. Jackson got him on the last hurdle. He nudges a couple of strides clear. They hurdle the last together. Coulson just in front. Jackson battling away but fading. Coulson won it. The Puerto Rican dives over the line to win. He beat Jackson, then Green, and Van Zyl made a mess of the last 2 flights. He finishes 4th, having been unbeaten across the first 2 Diamond League meetings. Great run from the Puerto Rican, the 26-year-old. He was the silver medalist at the world titles a couple of years ago. Started so brightly and then hung on. 48.50 is his fastest run of the year, eclipsing his 48.73 in Bayer Mahult a while ago. But he started really brightly. Didn't panic with Van Zyl coming at him. He looked very, very comfortable. Stride pattern was terrific the whole way. Van Zyl was hurdling with him until the 150, and then here, Jackson just got up on Van Zyl's inside. Javier Coulson was still in front. Jackson got to the second last flight in front and hurdled the last ahead of Coulson, but it was the last 20 metres from Coulson where he kicked his big strides into gear. Dived over the line. He gets the win. And the Puerto Rican is pretty happy with that. He'll be one to watch come Daegu later in the year. He wins in 48.50, a season's best. Bashawn Jackson 2nd, Green 3rd, Van Zyl 4th. So Van Zyl still leads the Diamond League standings comfortably. But Coulson makes up some ground ahead of Green and Jackson. Well, this packed house here in Lausanne are getting their money's worth tonight. And this is one of the feature races on the card. The men's 800 metres, featuring some of the best 2-lappers in the world. The running world champion, Muladzi, is here. But all eyes will be on the world record holder, David Rudisha, coming off his world-leading run in Nancy last week, is in red-hot nick and will start a virtual unbackable favourite in a pretty strong field, 10 runners in all. It will be a very entertaining 800 indeed. There's Bram Som. He runs on the inside from the Netherlands, the 31-year-old, 7th at the World Championship in Berlin a couple of years ago. He was a 2006 European champion where he ran his PB 143.45. He was 5th in New York behind Jago and Malodzi. It wasn't a bad run. He flashed home. He was a long way back. Interesting to see how he goes. 2 runners in lane 2. Asbel Kiprop is the tall man on the inside. He's the reigning gold medalist from Beijing in the 1500. And the African champion over that distance as well. It's his birthday today, 22 years of age. He won Doha the 800. Alongside him, Amin Lalou, who was second at the 1500 African titles last year. He's the running world champion, Muladzi of South Africa. Wonderful credentials. He's won a Commonwealth title, a World Indoor as well. Alfred Yago beat him, though, in New York, the 07 world champion. Muladzi got the better of him in Berlin. Alongside him, the youngster, 21 years of age, Jackson Kavuva, bronze medalist in the African titles last year behind Rudisha and Yago. Here's Marcin Lewandowski of Poland, the second of the two Europeans there. Last year's European champion, a very talented runner. Richard Kiplagat, 27 years of age, Commonwealth silver medalist in Delhi last year. Here's David Rudisha in red-hot form. Hasn't been beaten for 2 years. World record holder, as I mentioned earlier, 141.01. That time he ran in Riti last year. An incredible run. Continental Cup gold. 2 African titles. A couple of Kenyan titles as well. He ran in Melbourne and Sydney. And here's his pacemaker, Sami Tangui. Doesn't go anywhere without him. Tangui's paced Melbourne, Sydney, Doha, Rome, Hengelu and Nancy last week. So he'll try and take them through at a reasonable clip. Something around 143 will be the number that Rudisha will want to improve on. We're underway. Men's 800. From the inside, it's Som with the socks, and then the taller of the two on the in lane 2 is Kiprop, Lalou, the Moroccan, Muladzi. Yago's in the red singlet, Kivuva, Lewandowski, the second of the Europeans, Kiplagat, Rudisha there on the screen, coming up alongside and in front of Richard Kiplagat. Now Tangui takes over. He'll pace them through at a quick clip. He's taken them out hard here. Through the first 250 or so, Rudisha just sitting in behind him. And then it's Kiprop, the 1500 metre Olympic champion, who is striding along with Yago in 4th, and then it's back to Kiplagat. But Rudisha looks impressive here. He's been so good so far this season. Ran a couple of races in March, took some time off, and then he came back last week with a world-leading time. So Tangui takes him through at 49.0 and now pulls out. Rudisha increases his lead on Kiprop. No one will catch him. Look at this. He's striding away. Kiprop is losing touch. Yago will take up the chase. So too Kiplagat behind him. But they are a mile back as David Rudisha, the world record holder, the reigning Continental Cup winner, the man who hasn't been beaten for 2 seasons, is killing them here in Lausanne. 150 to go. He's the better part of 15 in front. Lalou is chasing. On his heels is Lewandowski, Kiplagat, and also Yago striding out to try and make up some ground. But Rudisha races clear. He does it again, coming off a world-leading time of 143. That's a 144 tonight. Lewandowski got second. It was pretty tight for third, but they're all a long way back. David Rudisha does it again. And you'd think it would take a train to stop him from winning the World Championship later this season in Daegu. He hasn't yet won a world title or a major title of any description. 22 years of age. It's hard to believe. He is creating a career and a legacy that knows no limits, to be perfectly frank. In the kind of form that he's in, he could go under 141. Wouldn't that be something special? It was a little slower. He eased up in the last 100. He didn't really push to the line. Time's not a big factor at this stage, but he looks very comfortable. He'd hardly blow out a candle. Just signing a few autographs for the crowd. The fans here in Lausanne got a real treat. The reigning Kenyan and African champion and also the Continental Cup winner from last year. So Rudisha wins 144.15. Lewandowski second. He continues his good form. Lalou, season's best. Kavuva flashed home to beat Yago. Kiplagat drifted back. Som Muladzi, a disappointing run to finish. What a field assembled for the men's 100 metres here in Lausanne. 3 Jamaicans who are part of that 4x100 world record squad from Beijing, and also the European champion in Christophe Lemaitre, an up-and-comer who is flying at the moment. 2 sub-10 second runs in the last fortnight. But the man to watch here is Safa Powell. He goes in lane number 4, one of the 3 Jamaicans that I mentioned. Here's Felix Goltel. of Germany, 21 years of age. His PB of 10.32 puts him a long way off the pace here. But it's his 10th 100-metre race of the season. Alongside him, Jaisuma Saidi Endure of Norway, former Ghanaian, and a former African senior bronze medalist in the 100. He's won 4 Norwegian titles and took the 1-2 double at the Euro team titles last week. Michael Frater, 28 years of age, Helsinki silver medalist in 2005 to Justin Gatland. 4 sub-10 seconds runs in 2011. Alongside him, Asafa Powell set the meet record and a world record here in 2008 in Lausanne. He's in good touch, 1 in Shanghai, 2nd in Rome to Usain Bolt, 3rd fastest all time. He is the big draw card. Christophe Lemaitre will be a crowd favourite, the reigning European champion, won the 1-2 double in 2010, Continental Cup winner, former World Junior champion from 2008. In his last 2 weeks, he's been exceptional, 9.99 and a PB 9.95 in Stockholm. There's Nesta Carter, 25 years of age, 4th fastest in history. He was 3rd in Eugene with a 9.92. He was 4th, though, at the Jamaican titles last week. There's Chirandi Martina, PB of 9.93. He was 4th in the Olympic final in 2008 with that run, 4th in Shanghai to Asafa Powell. And Pascal Mancini is the local hope here, 22 years of age. He's run a 10.41. The Swiss record is David Dollar at 10.16. So he's fast approaching that, and he might get dragged along tonight by the likes of Powell, Frater, Carter and Lemaitre. They're the big 4. They run in the middle. Can Powell conjure something akin to what he ran here in 2008? Word is that he's in exceptional touch. And Lemaitre likewise alongside him in the form of his career, really. 2 sub-10 second runs in the last fortnight. So there they are in 4 and 5. The men set to fly in the 100 metres here in Lausanne. Powell, a good start. Frater got away quickest. Lemaitre was slow. Carter's going well in 6, but Powell kicks into gear. Blows away Frater, Lemaitre and Carter. He wins in 9.77. He's the new world leader. 1.0 on the win gauge. Asafa Powell again continues his love affair with Lausanne. The crowd rise to their feet. What a run by the Jamaican. Well, he's in super touch. 9.78 it's been rounded up to. So he goes lower than Tyson Gay's 9.79. And he shows off the guns. He was beaten by Bolt in Rome when he had him cold. Lemaitre missed the start. He raced home to try and catch both Carter and Frater, but he was no match for Asafa Powell. Is this going to be the year he claims a major crown? Let's hope so. He's got 2 World Championship bronze medals to his name, beaten by both Bolt and Tyson Gay at the last 2 world titles. 5th at the 2 Olympic finals. He's contested his only major crown, that Commonwealth gold he won in Melbourne, but he continues to dominate the Diamond League and the races throughout Europe. Lausanne, his favourite track, a 9.72 here 3 years ago, and he blows them apart with a 9.77 here. His start was super. Frater was the quickest out. Lemaitre missed it, but you can see here his knee lift, his strength, his power, his raw pace, just too good for everybody else. He blew them apart. His last 40 metres, nothing short of exceptional. And Frater strained every sinew to try and catch him, but Powell knew he had them. Frater 2nd, Lemaitre 3rd. Saidi Endure might have got up for 4th there, ahead of Nesta Carter. But Lemaitre had to make up so much ground after he missed the start. He was virtually last out, but Powell knew. He looked relaxed, he looked composed. 9.78 is the result. And I wonder if he's just peaked a fraction too soon. You'd hope not. You'd hope he's got more to give over the next few months, and he turns up in Daegu in tip-top shape to give Usain Bolt a run for his money. But look at the explosion out of the start. He just raced clear of them, and then it was a matter of holding them off. Frater tried his best. Saidi Endure's start held him in good stead until he faded late. But Asafa Powell is in the form of his career, regaining that touch he had back in 2008 when he was the world record holder. But now he extends his lead in the Diamond League standings with another win here. 9.78 the world leader. Freighter second, 9.88 a PB. Lemaitre equals his run from Stockholm, 9.95, and equals his national record in the process. Saidi Endura runs sub 10 for the first time. He was level with Nesta Carter. And that's a wonderful effort from the Norwegian. But Asafa Powell extends his Diamond League lead over Usain Bolt and Steve Mullings. Freighter, Gay, Lemaitre. Gay won't add to his tally as he